Hey guys, welcome to Fitness Technology. Dave here. I'm trying to do a video on Horizon, changing the walk belt. It's kind of similar to the Nordic Track or the Soul ones that I've done. There's a couple little bit of differences. So if you've seen some of my other videos, you'll see it's kind of repetitive. But for people who haven't looked at that have a Horizon machine, this will be really good for them. And I'll be able to show you a little bit of the difference between this and different type manufacturers. So with anything, you got to always remove the hood. You got to take the 4 screws out, 5 screws out sometimes. You're going to move your hood back here. Make sure you turn your machine off. Just to be on the safe side, I'm going to unplug it too. Oh, by the way, the belt that I'm going to put on here is going to be from a new manufacturer that I'm dealing with. So I'm also going to do a little bit of an amp test with it. I'm going to see how it works on the Horizon system. This is kind of new to me as far as carrying this alternate belt, but it seems really nice. It worked out really good on the Soul machine. So let's see what it does on the Horizon. So the main differences with Horizon is you actually have to fold it up to get started on it. And the only reason why you got to do that is because some screws for the end caps are mounted underneath here. So we're going to take these off. Okay, so now you can't see this, but on the bottom side of a Horizon machine, not all of them, but certain models, is a little static guard strap. So make sure you take that off because you can't really lift the deck up too easily with that thing still attached. So that's what I'm unattaching right now. Alright, so we're going to remove that, stick that rascal right there. Alright, so those are really the differences for Johnson's Metals, Horizon, Livestrong, Matrix, A.F.G, Elite. Alright, so the rest of it is very similar to all the other machines that we've done together. We're going to remove this screw right here. Place it here. Place it here. So this little bracket keeps this side rail from sliding around. So let's just see if it'll push. Okay, so on this particular model, this side rail just pushes right off. Pretty easy, I'd like to say. But on some Horizon models, if you have a really hard time pushing this, some of these actually lift from the center, just like the Nordic Track. So if you're really struggling on getting this to slide down, check and see if the center of it doesn't pull out a little bit. Different models do, different models don't. Nordic Track kind of has a couple of them that do it this way. So just keep that in mind. Also, when you're on the other side of this, when you're looking at those static strap removals, sometimes they even have a screw located from the deck into the bottom of the rail. So kind of look around for that too while you have the machine folded up. Alright, so we're going to slide this off. Not going to quite reach without hitting that, so I'm going to lift it some. And then I got plenty of room. Alright, we'll just put that right here. Alright, so next thing we're going to do is I always like to mark them. I see on a lot of other videos, people have them count it. They count how many turns it is. I think that's really good. It's nice and accurate in its own way. But that really depends on what size Allen wrench you're using, how many turns it is. So in general, I usually use white chalk for this. But white chalk won't look very noticeable on this gray frame. So I'm using blue just to give me a general reference. When you put a new belt on, the belt may not be as stretched, so that may change a little bit, but that's just a general reference on where to put the rear roller back. Now we're going to mark the front. Just like that. And this way, I can use an impact or a socket and get it done a lot quicker. So the Allen wrench that I would normally use, and this is a number 6, by the way. This is your manual type. For the old Horizon, this actually used to come in a box. I don't know if it still does. So, since my impact is weak, it's a weakling, I'm going to turn it a few times with my socket just to get it loose and easy for it. Now, we'll get my weak tool out, but it's still better than doing it by hand. Still quicker. Little on this side. Little on that side. And for me, that's a lot quicker. You can do it differently if you want. You can count the screws, count the turns. But since I do this out in the field for a living, time is of the essence. So I use my impact as much as I can. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to remove these screws right here. Or at least see if they're loose to where I don't have to do any fancy getting out. Strict. So let's take this right here. That seems absolutely fine. I can use my impact on that. Now see this? These little white flakes here, that's a sign that the underneath of my walking belt is worn out and it needs to be changed. I'm really doing this just for the video, but it's nice to see that I'm not wasting my money on a new belt. So those are all basically loose. So I'm going to switch this back over to my impact. Did I mention I'm a little lazy and time is concerned? So I'm going to put all these right here. Put this right here. Put this right here. Put this right here. Alright? So the next thing we need to do is we need to remove this front roller. A lot of times you can do it without taking the V-belt off, but I want to show you how to do that anyway. So we're going to walk that over, just like this, and walk it back a little bit, and boom, the V-belt is off. Alright? One other thing that's a little different with Horizon is a lot of times this is just sitting in a hole, but this screw right here actually holds the front roller in place a little bit. So we'll get to that next. Let's see. Yep. So it's a number 6 for the front adjustment bolt also. And that looks like a 7/16 maybe. Let's see what we got in the Unmagic bag of stuff. 13 millimeter. What do you know? Alright, so this model has a nut on the front roller, so we need to remove that. Don't want to lose that. Alright, there's a nut for that. Didn't lose it. Now let's remove the front roller. I don't know if I can get my impact in there or not. Let's see if we can speed this up some. Told you, admittedly, I'm very lazy. So I got almost all out with that. Finish up with this. And I don't really like to fast forward everything, because this gives you guys an idea of what it actually takes to do it. See, in a lot of them, they just speed the screwing up, which I need to do that, but I'm not going to do that today. Front roller bolt, and we'll put next to the nut. All right, and then the one thing I said that was different about Horizon is actually you have to remove this front roller. Holds it in place. I'm not sure if every Horizon or Livestrong machine has that. This one does, so we got to remove it. Don't need none of them. We'll put that there, put that there, put that there. All right, so let's remove this front roller. Yeah, now see all this white stuff? All this is a sign that the under half of this is wearing down. So I'm pretty sure I bought the right size belt. If not, I guess I can't blame that on the belt manufacturer since I measured it and ordered it. So let's see, we're just going to cut this off if we can. My knife's pretty dull. Oh, good. Alright, take this over here, throw it away. Yeah, all that fluffy white cotton stuff on these 2-ply belts. That's a sign of the belt's getting soft underneath, and you want the bottom of your belt to be kind of rough and abrasive. We're just gonna, for the sake of time, I'm not gonna wipe this down too good. If I were you guys, I would wipe it down a little more thoroughly. But I don't want to get the center of it dry because wet is good for a treadmill. So let's remove that rear roller. Let's see. Oh, this model doesn't have any brackets. So that's good. So that means boy, these belts are nice. Alright, anyway. So this also, if you're looking at this and you want to wonder if your deck is worn, this has light little scratches on it, so it's kind of okay. But when these decks go bad, they'll have a lot of scratches in it, or they'll have brown spots in it where the deck lamination is actually wore off a little bit. So kind of keep an eye on that too. Alright, lift this up. Slide this under here. Push this there. Slide that across. Do this, do that. Alright. There we go. Don't pinch fingers because that's not fun. Alright, so reinstall time. Let's just see if everything lines up. First thing I usually do is just pop these in place. Spinning pretty good. Spinning pretty good. Alright. We'll go right to the impact to speed it up some. A lot of times I twist this by hand 2 or 3 times just to make sure everything's well lined up down there, but I don't want the video to take forever. And you already have the general idea because the belt's already back. Alright? So now we're going to have to put our rollers. I always put the front roller in first and then put the rear roller in because I want this to be as easy as it can be as far as tension goes on putting the roller back in. Alright? So we're going to stick that bad boy there. So this is one of the few models where this actually matters because this is going to line up with that screw right there. You don't really see that too often. Alright. So I guess we will assume if this bolt is straight, that that hole should be straight. So let's see. We'll start with this side over here. Alright. It's going in pretty good. I'll use this one. So again, the number 6. Now we're going to go back to the procedures of putting this in. So I don't tighten this up. I do it just until the bolt goes from the outside hole to the inside hole of the motor mount. I'm sorry, of the roller mount. Because once I get this straight, then I want as much slack back there as possible to put the rear roller in. So I'm just going to get it to go through the hole. Alright, so that's through the hole just a little bit. Right there. Alright. Take that bad boy out. Now I'm assuming that this is going to line up because that is lining up. But I don't know that yet, do I? Let us see. Well, what do you know? Okay. Alright, so once I've got the front roller established, I got it in just a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and put the rear roller on and then go back to the front roller. Alright, so I'll need this for that. And the impact's already there. Holes line up. Holes line up. Same thing. Couple threads in. Switch to my impact. Too much work. Go in the right direction. Alright, so I'm going to get them to my marks. I can tell you now that I'm probably going to have to go back behind my mark a little bit. Yeah, that's what I thought. Alright, let's take care of the front now. Alright, no, is this right here? Alright, so I gotta do some things by hand. Put this nut back on, it's just gonna kill me. But it is what it is, so to speak. Hold that in place. Alright, nuts back on. So for sure, you always want to put your front roller back, even if your belt's a slightly different size, to its original mark, because this kind of is what gets it straight as far as its alignment goes. The back you can always touch with as time goes on. All right, that feels pretty good. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the motor belt back on. So I've left it attached to the roller. I sneak it on the little pulley head of the motor first. Okay. Then I kind of push it and the roller and the belt. There we go. All at the same time. Now sometimes you have to loosen your motor up. But if you do it perfectly and get lucky, you don't have to do that. Alright. Feels pretty close. Let's see what it looks like with the side rail back on. Yeah, I'm going to have to lift the machine. Kind of heavy. In case you can't tell. I don't think the shock in this old boy is working too good. Or I'm just getting old and weak. Either one is possible. Both are probable. Right, slide this bad way out. So for a while, yes, that's really not too bad. So we're just going to hand... Oh my God, these belts are just unbelievably smooth. You'll see that on some of my other belt tests. Boy, that's nice. So, put the bracket back on. Wow. That is one smooth belt. Buy your belts and who you want to, but that is one smooth belt. All right. For sake of video time, just going to put one screw back in. You know your end caps go back. Couldn't hurt to get up. No. Got it right the first time. Back in here. I will show you that in a second. But I'm actually kind of excited now to see how this thing amps out. Wow, that's smooth and easy. Alright, so it's horribly crooked, so I gotta straighten it some. So let's go over to this side and we'll do this by hand. Silly thing for me to be so excited about, but I do it for a living, so you know, it's exciting to me. Alright, so let's bring this back a little bit more up. Alright, so that's about a 1/4 inch from my mark. But still plenty of play inside my bracket, not a problem. Let's go ahead and turn it on, and I'll self-adjust it from there. All right, let's plug it in and turn it on. There we go. It's a touchscreen, so it takes a minute to boot up. Takes a couple minutes to boot up. Welcome. Hello, how are you? Alright. User 1, yes. So when I first put a belt on, I like to be right back here to make sure I've done a decent job. I think I have it too far off in the front. Yeah, see? That rubbing noise. Let it stop for a second. That's good. So now my belt is more crooked on this side, but I'm pretty sure I'm right on the back side. Yeah, I hear you. So that's good. We're going to fix this real quick. See this big gap? So that means this roller, this front roller, needs to go more forward, because that'll make the belt walk over this way. Alright? So I think we discovered that was better with my socket. So, I don't know, 8 turns, 10 turns, some amount of turns. Alright, so let's hand walk it again and see if it starts coming over towards this way a little bit. Alright, let's run her. Are these hooked up? No. So speed up this way. So let's run her for a couple more minutes. So when your belt's crooked and you're looking at it from the back, whatever side the belt is going to, you're going to tighten that side, and basically it'll move the opposite way. I got a bunch of videos on that too. So it's coming over. Because you're probably impatient like me, let's speed it up some. Alright, that's pretty good there. Now it looks like it's coming a little too much this way. No, maybe not. Let's just wait. Yeah, maybe. So now that the belt's coming a little too far this way, just a little, I'm going to go to this side and tighten it some. Because it means this side is slightly looser, and I'm just trying to take the slack out of the side. And I'm turning the Allen to the right, righty tighty. All right, that looks pretty good right there. All right. So now, because I'm all excited, I'm going to do the amp test, and then I'll put the strap on at the bottom. I can't wait. Sorry about that. Not my normal procedures. But put the screws on the bottom. I don't think that really makes any difference. I think once you got them off, you'll understand. Alright, so I'm going to turn this over to amps. So you want to shoot this right down here again? You need me to turn it some?
I can see it now.
You can see it now?
No, turn it back the way it was. No, this way a little bit. There you go.
No, that's not really the way it wants to go. But.
I can still see it.
Alright. So right now it's set on AC, so we have 120 volts, 119 point something. So we're going to run this over to amps. We got an A right there. Alright, so 1.46. That's really good. You'll see in a lot of my other videos, I like it to be under 3. Under 2 is super nice. Alright. So we've got our belt on. It's staying nice and straight. And now, just to make me happy, I want to amp test this belt on this new Horizon system and see how much it changes. Alright, so what are we at now, Sue?
1.45.
Alright, and so the magic number is 3, and I'm only going 2.7. So I want to be fair. Alright, what do you have at 3?
159.
Wow, what a belt. Really. Alright. So I'm going to walk on the outside edges. It really don't matter too much because it's brand new. What do you have now?
2.2.
How about in the center?
2.0. 2.1.
That is so impressive.
2.2.
So what I'm looking for is 4 to 6. And by the way, this is, I forgot to tell you, always lubricate your belts with a full tube of lube after you've changed it. Some of the ones like Soul actually want you to put 2 tubes of lube. I'll show you that real quick, but I got a bunch of videos on how to lube your treadmill. All right, one more time just because I don't believe it. All right, what do you got?
2.1.
Wow, that's incredible. And I'm happy with 4 to 6. So these new belts are pretty good. This has got nothing to do with that. This is about how to install a Horizon treadmill belt, but it is this new belt manufacturer that I'm going to start carrying. And I would say that's pretty darn impressive. So don't forget to put that little strap on the bottom of it. I'm not going to bother with it. It's 2 screws. Put the 2 screws back. Don't forget to put your 2 end caps back on. Put your 2 screws underneath. I guess that's really it. You've just done a Horizon treadmill belt. Kind of similar to the other ones. Couple little catchy things to it that the other ones don't have. Installed my new belt system on it. Totally impressed again. You should always put a tube of lube. Some manufacturers even recommend 2. And when it's a newer machine, spread the lube around. Put the lube underneath here. Just spread it around a little bit. Normally, I suggest only doing the front. But with a brand new belt, it's kind of good to get the whole deck a little glossy. Get it slimy, so to speak. And it is what it is. Wow, okay. So that's how to install a Horizon treadmill belt. Thanks very much for viewing this tape. Again, I'm really impressed with this new belt company. And that's all I really have for you today. Please subscribe, and I hope to see you again shortly. Thanks a lot.